There is a plague in our world. It infects and devours all things of beauty, rotting them from the inside. Blasphemers, the wicked. Seek it out, my child. Smite it with furious vengeance and undo the thing that should not be. Be my hand of destruction and carry out my message with unwavering conviction. Do this. I will speak with you again, my child.
Welcome to the Twisted Tentacle Inn. I am your innkeeper, Vase Odin, and today we'll be talking about Zoey Samaras, the chef. This is not a deck tech, it's mostly an overview of the investigator, and that's pretty much how this series is going to run. We'll talk about the background story of the investigator and some basic tips on deck building for that particular investigator. So let's get started. Zoey was 6 years old when God first spoke with her. When she grew older, she made it her life's mission to carry out his will and destroy the unholy. One day, he told her to go to Arkham, where a great evil was brewing, so she packed up her things and took the very next train there. But when she arrived, something terrible happened. God stopped speaking with her. In Arkham, she's taken a job at La Grenouille as a chef to pay for basic necessities, but her real work begins when the sun goes down as she goes stalking the streets of Arkham at night. She hunts the abominations as often as she can and hopes that one day God will speak with her again. Zoey's backstory is kind of interesting. There are creatures that inhabit this world that for most people are unimaginable. Zoey has taken her mission literally and has determined that these creatures, not being part of God's creations, are the beings that she needs to destroy. But is it that simple? What if Zoey saw a deep one when she was 6 and suppressed the memory thinking God had spoken with her? What if she's a paranoid schizophrenic and is killing anything that doesn't resemble one of God's creatures? Or perhaps it's something more sinister. What if it's a great old one that has twisted her mind into believing that he's God speaking with her and is coercing her into destroying the agents of another rival great old one? It certainly could explain why God stopped talking to her when she arrived at Arkham. Perhaps the power of whatever is in Arkham is suppressing the power of the one who is twisting her mind. I mean, she does get daydreams and visions and even has psychotic thoughts at times. Look at the above quote from Investigators of Arkham. I wouldn't call that normal. So is she insane? Is something sinister controlling her mind? Did God really speak to her? I certainly don't have the answers, but it definitely makes you think differently about Zoey when looking into those perspectives. But it's not all darkness for Zoey. She does love animals, and she even has a cat, a calico cat named Misha. She did have another cat named Sasha, but she mysteriously disappeared. Oh yeah, and her parents are dead. So in game terms, Zoey is a very powerful combatant. There's little that can stand in the way of her path of destruction and walk away unscathed. With a 4 in both willpower and fight value, she can withstand the toughest tests and also hit the toughest enemies. If she does take a hit, she has a 9 in her health, which is definitely the highest that we've seen right now. And then her sanity is a 6, which is not the lowest, but it is pretty down there. So that is probably her weak spot. Her intellect and evade values are both at a 2, so that's kind of rough. The evade is not as important because she generally wants to fight things and not evade them. But that intellect definitely is a hindrance, especially if you plan on running her solo. Her special ability is You gain a resource whenever you become engaged with an enemy, and you can activate that as a reaction, which means you can do it as much as you want, and you can choose not to do it if you want. But it's pretty awesome. It makes her receive a very steady flow of income should you need it for more expensive cards. And her Elder Sign effect is really good. It'll give you a +1 to the skill test, and if you succeed and it's an attack, you're going to do +1 damage to whatever you're attacking. That's pretty freaking awesome. For deck building, it's pretty standard when compared to the other Dunwich investigators. Her faction cards, she can take them from level 0 to 5, any neutral card level 0 to 5, and she can splash up to 5 level 0 cards from any other class. So it makes her pretty versatile. You know, you can fill in some gaps in areas that you might want to focus on from other classes' cards. And her signature cards we'll talk about in a minute: her Cross and Smite the Wicked, as well as a random basic weakness. So Zoey's signature card is Zoey's Cross, symbol of righteousness. Once you become engaged with an enemy, you can exhaust it and spend a resource to deal 1 damage to the enemy. This works very well with her ability, mostly because you'll always have the resource to spend in order to take advantage of the Cross. Her weakness is not that punishing either. Basically, you're searching the encounter deck for a creature and putting it at the furthest location, and you have to kill it or you'll take a trauma. Now, this can be pretty serious if you pull it at the end of the scenario when you're about to resign or exit or finish, and now you have to run all the way across the board to kill this thing. So that's the only time where I could see it being kind of a hindrance, but otherwise, you know, it'll take you a few actions to go and kill whatever it is, and then you move on. When I play Zoey, I always pack her with a lot of weapons and cards that help her do extra damage, so she can kill things quickly and efficiently, leaving her open to kill more things quickly and efficiently. Also, depending on how you play her, if it's solo or in a group, you know, that can also determine what your splash cards are going to be. And by splash cards, I mean the 5 out-of-faction cards that you can put in there into her deck. I asked the community for some additional input on deck building for her, and someone named J. Angus Campbell gave some great recommendations, and I agree with just about everything he put in there. He thinks 4 to 6 weapons is the sweet spot for her, as well as cards that heal sanity. If you're playing her in a group, cards that help her engage creatures or multiple creatures, cards that help her heal and also protect the party are great to put into the deck. And for solo play, adding cards that help her get clues, and preferably for free without a check. So cards that'll just give you the clues out of the location without having to pull out of the chaos bag are great for her solo. While other people recommend cards that help her get around very quickly to get to locations to help defend her other party members. And if you want specific deck text on her, check out Arkham DB and Card Game DB. Those are some great resources, as well as the communities online, specifically Facebook and Reddit. Also, the YouTube community has quite a few great channels, and a lot of them have made deck text for Zoey, and I think I like just about every single one of them. Zoey's a ton of fun to play, and hopefully this video has been helpful for you and you've gotten something out of it. Until next time, I am your Innkeeper Vase Odin, and this has been the Twisted Tentacle Inn. I'll see you all soon.